the true big jazz tenor sound that was rampant in the days of certainly Coleman Hawkins, Ben Webster. People like that all through the 40s, 50s, 60s, and just, I guess, into the early 70s, is not as easily heard today. Not unless you have a guest who happens to be the gentleman with us tonight, a guest like Eddie Lockjaw Davis.
George, it's good to see you, and
it's good to be here.
And maybe, perhaps more important, it's good to hear that sound again.
Thank you. You're very kind. And as you said earlier, the big sound has been diminished somewhat, but
Why?
I try to retain it because the new approach is more or less technique, speed, the swiftness of foot and finger. And they've lost touch with the basic element, which is tonal quality. Unfortunately, it's accepted. But I think the big sound is here to stay.
Who were your major influences for you to come up with this kind of a sound?
Ben Webster, Coleman Hawkins, Those were the biggies. And when it came to speed and technique, it was Lester Young, Don Byers, Chu Berry.
Yeah, we were talking about it already.
Those are the guys.
You know, you've been able to experience something that very few people, certainly very few players, have been able to experience. You are in two of possibly the world's greatest jazz bands ever. You were with Basie over I don't know how many years.
Oh, goodness, yeah. And the Basie Orchestra, it spanned a period of 23 years in and out.
In and out of the band.
You know, it was almost like taking sabbaticals and whatnot.
Vacations, short trips.
Always.
Well, how about this? You did a short stint with Duke's band, didn't you?
Yeah. At that particular period, Paul Gonsalves disappeared on one of his sabbaticals, and I replaced him for several days.
I think I heard a story, believe it or not. Somebody was telling a story that you told. I didn't hear it, about coming into the section with Johnny Hodges and the different guys in the Duke's band, and you asking something about what note.
True.
What happened?
Everybody nutted up. In other words, if I asked Johnny, what are we playing now? He said, it'll come to you. And then the trombone player, I'll ask him, he said, well, you spoke to Johnny first, so I have nothing to say. It was weird.
Was it like joining the House of Congress or something like that?
Well, it was joining like different factions of a cult, and if you spoke to this one won't speak to you. And the most mysterious part was when he called a tune. I can't remember what it is, but anyway, it was a tune where there was no music. And they said, I said, well, I asked the other alto player, and at that time I think it was Henderson. I said, well, what are we playing? He said, just pick any note. It'll come out right.
It'll come out right.
I said, you're joking. He said, no, I'm serious. What's the tune that was very popular? Da 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 dee da da.
Oh, Caravan.
Caravan. And I picked the tune. He says, just take a note and play the melody. It'll come out. And it came out right. I don't know what note I picked. It came out right.
Hey, don't try that here.
Oh, no. Well,
it won't come out.
We have unique support here.
I know something that will come out.
But honestly, that was quite an experience in that orchestra.
It had to be because they're so diverse, the two orchestras.
Yeah.
One was such a, a structured, not formal, but a structured musical thing.
Well, in a contrast, the Basie Orchestra brought out the individuality of an artist. However, anyone that took that particular chair, those solos were there for. In the Duke Ellington band, solos written personally for you. In other words, when you left the orchestra and someone took your place, a new set of solos were for the replacement. That was the difference.
Yeah, Duke's band was a very personal breach.
Doesn't that sound very intellectual?
It does.
Aren't you impressed?
I'm very impressed.
Really, I like the sound of, intellectual. Good.